Welcome to a Community Partners interview where we explore the organizations, opportunities, and resources that look to make change in our daily lives. I'm your host, Sean Pickard, and you're listening to Voices for Ability Radio, all abilities, all the time. Today, I'm joined by Elisa Fronczak, who is the Community Inclusion and Development Lead for the Meta Center. Meta offers a wide spectrum of services and personalized supports to help people live in inclusive, engaged, and enriched lives in the community. They're a community where all persons thrive as valued, respected citizens leading dignified, fulfilling lives. Thank you for joining us today, Elisa. How are you doing today?
I'm great, and thank you for having me.
Oh, I'm really looking forward to learn a little bit more about the Meta Center. But before we do that, let's learn a little bit more about you. What is the Elisa Fronczak experience? What inspired you to work at Meta Center? Why work with individuals with disabilities?
Thank you. That's such a wonderful question. So I actually have over 20 years of experiencing working with people with disabilities, and I actually started at a very young age. So, in high school, when we have to complete our part of our graduating requirement to graduate from high school, you have to complete 40 hours of community service. So I remember when that came out, when I was in high school, I said, I kind of want an experience where I can learn something, not just to do a bunch of, volunteer hours and get it over with. So I remember I did some research and I found Holland Bloorview Rehabilitation Hospital. So this hospital primarily supports children with disabilities. And I went for an interview there, and I got accepted to do my hours at an aquatic rehabilitation program. And I really, really enjoyed it. And after that experience, the therapist there asked me, hey, would you like to do another program with us? And it was more geared towards children who experience difficulties with sensory. And I was like, I'm going to try this as well. I really enjoyed that. And I just kept doing the programs. And then there was another program where Holland Bloorview collaborated with Geneva Center. So I did that with them. And I just kept doing these programs working with the sector. And I realized I was really happy doing it. It was very fulfilling. And I think at a young age, being a teenager and just learning about who you are and exploring the world, people with developmental disabilities shaped who I am today. I learned a lot about patience. I learned a lot about humbleness. I also learned a lot about perseverance. And generally, I was very happy working in this field. And I noticed all the social workers and the therapists and the staff who were involved in these programs were also generally happy. And I just thought to myself, this is where I want to be. I want to be happy in what I'm doing. And then I went and I completed my linguistics program, and I did my social service worker program, and I started working at different day programs, and I eventually made it to Meta Center, where I have my new department, and I'm part of the clinical team.
It sounds like you made yourself an expert before you realized you were happy, Elisa.
I would like to think that.
That is awesome. I love that.
Thank you.
While I was looking into things for Meta Center, I came across a number of different programs that you have for your members or your clients. Can you tell us about these programs? What do they do? What do they offer? How do they help people?
Absolutely. So I'll tell you a little bit about the programs that we've had all throughout the years and some new ones that are emerging. So we've always had our supported group living. So Meta has over 22 homes, and the homes they're located with the mind of accessibility. So our participants have access to, public transportation, parks. A lot of our participants love to go to libraries and restaurants. So Meta makes sure that when they do have these homes, they're around areas where our participants can feel included in the community. We also have a program that's called SIL, and it stands for Supported Independent Living. And basically, META supports participants living independently in the community. So we have social workers that will come in, let's say roughly 6 hours a week, and they will support our participants in whatever areas that they need. So for example, finance, budgeting, banking. Some of our participants need a little extra support in booking medical appointments, sometimes food prep, making healthier choices, sometimes with chores. It is more person-centered, and it's geared always towards what our participants need and from us. We also have respite services. So our respite program is a service that provides temporary relief for caregivers and family members who are experiencing burnout or compassion fatigue, just from the demands of caring for a loved one with a disability. And they have numerous programs. So they focus a lot on life and social skills. We have March break camps and summer camps. We also have a social club that runs every Tuesday and Thursdays in the evening. A lot of our participants love going out bowling or going to arcades and movies, and when it gets a little bit warmer, even Wonderland. So again, it is very person-centered, and it's all geared towards what our participants want. We also, I'm part of this team, so I'm part of the clinical team. So we're not talked a lot about, but I think it's important to mention the kind of services that we offer. We're a very small team, and we have our manager, he's a clinical social worker, and he does a lot of things. I think he should be interviewed, honestly, but he does a lot of our counseling. We have facilitators who also provide non-emergency counseling. We provide a lot of psychoeducational workshops as well. Our facilitators are also trained sex educators. So we do a lot of workshops and programs on consent, what constitutes a healthy relationship, what is safe sex. Additionally, we have a holistic therapist on our team, which is very interesting. And our holistic therapist, he provides different type of healing modalities that sometimes our participants want to explore their health in different ways, and he offers those different healing modalities, so such as yoga, reflexology, there's massage therapy, there's Reiki therapy. Additionally, we also have a behavior consultant on our team who is also a trainer and a counselor, and our behavior consultant also supports our participants and staff in managing certain behaviors. I can keep going. There's a lot more.
There's a lot of support for folks there. That's a lot of support.
Yeah, we do. We still have a little. It's important, I think, to mention too. Like we have 5 different day programs where we focus a lot on life skills and social skills and a lot of rec and leisure.
Awesome. Those are awesome things to have. But the one that really caught my eye, can we talk about dreams a little bit, please?
Dreams, yes. So our dreams, it's done by our community liaison individual. And this, from what I understand, I'm not too involved, but from what I know is our participants, so it happens roughly every year, our participants come up with a dream, and it could be anything that they want. Let's say a trip. For example, there's one dream where a participant said, they want a full day at a spa where they get pampered and they get their nails done and their hair and they get a body scrub. And this is all placed and at an event. And then we have sponsors that come in and pick a dream and they make the dream happen. So they pay for the dream, and it could be around $200, $300. So this is a beautiful thing because it's very, very unique towards what our participants really want.
That is very unique, and I love that. Now, if you have anyone looking to do a podcast or something, tell them you got connections.
Awesome. Awesome.
Now, are there any restrictions at the Meta Center, such as age, disability type, caregivers or family members only, things of that nature?
So our programs are geared towards adults. So usually our participants right after high school will tend to come to our programs. However, our respite program is a little bit different. So our respite programs, because we have March break camps and summer camps, it also is geared towards youth and children. So we accept children as young as, I believe, 8, all the way until 30.
That's quite the spread. You have
It
a lot of fun on some of those days. Let's talk about some of the March break camps. What happens there?
So the respite March break camps, they do a tremendous, they do different things every year. A lot of it is we go out into the community. So, and it is a combination. Sometimes we do a lot of stuff in the day programs and as well as the community. So there's a combination. So we do everything. We go to Wonderland, we go to Rib Fests, rock concerts, music festivals, art festivals, just even sports, a lot of sports. A lot of our participants love going and watching sports. So we'll do that as well. And also some of our participants also enjoy staying inside the day program. So that's when there's a lot of activities there. And we do fitness, we do yoga, we do cooking, a lot of social stuff as well. And what's really great with our respite services, every participant tends to have a one-to-one support staff. So a lot of the attention is given there and a lot of personal attention as well. So if sometimes participants want to go out or sometimes they want to stay in and just have a conversation with their staff, they have that opportunity.
That sounds just top notch, right? Just everything tailored to the individual. And I love it when people are seen as individuals instead of grouped together.
Right.
Now, we're coming into one of my favorite questions here, Elisa, and I'm sure you've got many different ways you can go with this. But without using any names, without identifying anybody, can you share a success story with me? What happened when someone asked for help and supports were put in place?
Wow. That's a beautiful question. I'm trying to think of a good one.
So
I
many
actually
to
have
choose
two.
from, isn't there?
I know, and I'm trying to think of one that can really highlight um, like who we are as an organization and what we do. I can give you two. I can give you one that's individual, and I can give you one as a group because I think the group one is also very, very wonderful and very personal as well. Um, for
Yeah.
example, we have certain participants. We have a participant that tends to, um, I want to say, struggle a little bit with boundaries. And this is something that's gone throughout this individual's life. And that has to do with just the lived experiences and childhood experiences. And we saw this pattern where this individual would not successfully establish healthy boundaries. And we did whatever we could as a clinical team, as a group to support this person. And we did things by reaching out, by doing workshops, and we were thankful that this individual was willing to listen even to us and give us that space to, you know, to provide the services, to provide the workshops, to provide the education. And we worked on it and worked on it, and all of us did. If it was one facilitator, then it was the next facilitator. And we taught and we showed what healthy boundaries are and how they're important and how it impacts your health, how it impacts your mental health, your emotional health, even your physical health. And we never gave up. And after a while, after, a long, long time, this individual realized that they mean something. And I think it was beautiful to see because when you're in time, and we all experience this as people, not all of us, but we do experience this. When you're told you're not enough, you tend to believe that. And when you have someone in your corner who's telling you you are enough, and then you start to believe that, it's beautiful because you start to see who you are and who you're worth. And we saw that individual change and we saw that person making those healthy boundaries and putting themselves first and what they want. And I think for me that is a success story because we never gave up. And most importantly, that individual never gave up and saw that they are important and they have something to contribute to the world.
That is a great story, Elisa. I love that one. But you had a group one as well.
Yes. So this one, I think it is a success story, and I'll tell you all why. So recently, it was over a year ago. And I can get into more of that a little bit later about what my department does as well. But um, I created a program with someone from the community. It was a filmmaker, and we created a 12-week program for our Meta participants because I noticed that a lot of our Meta participants enjoyed media. They enjoyed film, they enjoyed kind of being in front of the camera and performances. And I said, oh, how cool would it be to create this program and also just bring a little bit of awareness into what Meta does and who we are and just the sector in general to people who really don't know much about people with disabilities. Anyway, so this filmmaker, I proposed the idea. He liked the idea, and we created this program. And Meta had its very own first film festival where our participants' ideas and their scripts and their films and who they were was shown. It was shown on a live platform. So we had a lot of people come out, and I think this festival, what I really found was successful was that it brought people from different walks of life. We had families, caregivers, we had social workers, frontline staff, we had filmmakers, artists, photographers, videographers. We even had the mayor. We even had the mayor of Von come. So I found it successful because later when I was talking to the people in the audience, and we had over 200 people that attended, it was interesting to see like everyone was saying that they all experienced these different floods of emotions. Some people cried, some people laughed, people reflected, and I think the film festival and showing these mini films, it really challenged stereotypes that people have about people with disabilities, and also it showed that people with disabilities, at least here at Meta, we're here to stay. We're part of the community, and we're coming. So I think that was a success story. And it was a big group one because it was a group of 19 participants that participated in this program.
That is an excellent story, Elisa. I love it when, well, we've talked about it. Individuals being treated as individuals, but being able to express their point of view and amplify their voice. Yeah, I'm kind of all over that one. I love those stories.
Me too.
Now, that was the film festival that you had set up. Let's talk about events for Meta Center. Is there another film festival coming up? Are there any other events? What's going on?
Yeah, so so we're hoping, so that's another thing, we're struggling with funding as always, as anyone who belongs in this sector or works in it knows, but we're planning to do another film festival. We just finished another 12-week film program where we filmed our participants. Actually, it was the same group, a little bit of some new clients, but it was we were building up on the skills that they had from the first program. So this time around, they were leading us, and they were deciding what kind of films they want to do, who they want to act. They did script writing, and so we just finished 5 films, and then we finished one major one as a group because we wanted to incorporate more of like community, not necessarily community, more of teamwork building. And hoping for one more group so we have enough content for a film festival so we can play these films for everybody. So that's one event that is going to happen. There's another event that I'm doing. It's where I collaborated with a photographer as well, and it's actually there's two. There's two that we're doing, but this one is for it's more for women empowerment, and it's happening in March, and it's just to celebrate International Women's Day. So we're bringing in a photographer, and we're going to have stations where our our participants are going to choose how they want to be viewed in a photo, or how they want to be portrayed in a photo. So they will have different stations where they can get their hair done, their makeup, different outfits, as well as the theme is to bring out your inner goddess. So we're making goddess crowns with our participants' input and how they want these crowns to look like. And we're going to be doing a really fun photo shoot for all the women, and just to empower them, and just to make them feel beautiful, because that's something also that I hear from our meta participants. They always say, we want to feel beautiful. This is how we want to be viewed. We want to get our hair done. We want to do this. So I'm working on that with collaborating with some people from the community.
And I look forward to seeing that photo spread, to be honest with you, Elisa. That would be awesome.
Yes, awesome.
Now, what is the one thing that you see happening over and over again to individuals with disabilities that shouldn't be? And how do we stop it?
That's a very, very good question. I think there's a lot of things, but I think one that I want to mention that I find that's affecting people with disabilities, but also their families. And before I got this role, I was still in the clinical team, but I was a facilitator in the clinical team. And one of my roles was I would have to do intakes where I would meet with families, and I would meet with participants that want to be, part of our services. And and I think what really hurt me was we're operating on a budget that's the same, like it's the same budget that we've been operating for 20 years. We're grossly underfunded. And because of that, we can't expand. And I don't think this is just a meta problem. Other organizations are experiencing this as well. We want to expand. We want to get bigger. We want to have more services, more day programs, but you need proper funding for that. And I was reading Community Living did this whole research where we're seeing there's over 53,000 adults just waiting for services, basic services that improve quality of life. And just to go back to what I was saying, what hurts and what hurt me as a facilitator when I was doing these intakes and when I was speaking to families is, you have an example. I would have a 2-parent household call me and, ask me to be put on a wait list for our day program services. Everything was done. I would put on the waiting list, but I would have to give the hard truth that our waiting lists are very, very long, and it's everywhere, all throughout organizations. There's a high demand for services, and it's leading to these long wait lists. And what's happening is our adults are coming out of high school, and they're expecting to come into our day programs, and they can't. They're stuck. And if it's a 2-parent household, okay, it's one person, one parent is staying home to support their loved one, and the other person is working. But what happens when you have a single parent household? And this is something that I was seeing over and over and over again. And you would have a single parent have to quit their job because they have to support, their child and their loved one. And who's paying the bills? Who's paying the rent? Who's paying the mortgage? Who is doing that? And to hire, someone to hire that support to stay or to take care of your loved one is very expensive, and the government is not giving enough funding to even cover that. So what are families doing? Well, families are breaking apart. They're breaking down. They're experiencing health issues, physical and mental health issues, because of the stress. And this is not okay. This is so wrong. It's wrong. And people need to talk more about it. People need to really, really get together. And I'm talking people like me, people, family, caregivers, anyone in this field, and really start fighting and really start speaking out loud to our politicians, to just community, just to bring this awareness. Nobody really knows the struggles. So I think that's one of the, sorry, I got a little passionate over there for a second.
And I love the passion because you're raising something that not many people raise, right? And the impact that can have on the family as a whole, not just the individual with a disability, is staggering.
Yeah. Yes. And I see it over and over. We see it over and over again.
Yes, very unfortunate.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if someone wanted to become a member or volunteer with MetaCenter, what's the process for joining, both as a member or a client or as a volunteer?
So as a client, our services, for example, our supported group living, our residential placements are only available through DSO, which is Development Services Ontario. Same with our supported independent living program. Everything has to go through DSO. With our day program services, if it's a funded program, it's the same process. You have to go through DSO. You get a worker, they do an assessment, and then they see how much funding is available for the participant. If some families who are fortunate and have enough, have the financial stability and resources, they call us. We do an intake, and they put their loved one on the waiting list. And when a vacancy opens up, we connect, and then we explain fees and everything as well. And that's a little bit sometimes easier, if the families who are lucky enough to have the finances. But those who don't, right, it's long waiting lists again. I'm being redundant, but yeah, and you have to go through DSO.
DSO is the way to go, apparently. So,
yes.
Now, what is the one thing that everyone needs to know about MetaCenter?
I think we're a very humble organization, and I think maybe that's one of the reasons why a lot of people don't know about us. But I think and one thing about Meta is our staff, our management team, they work so hard every day. They work every day to fight barriers for the sector, and I see a lot of our management team and our supervisors and our staff too, right? Some of them, they're up late hours, making sure that the day runs smoothly. Or I look at my manager. Sometimes he'll work way past the 9 or 8 hour shift, and he's always advocating for our participants, and whether it's anything from just sitting and speaking with them, and just offering that listening and safe space to be heard. I think it's so wonderful to see that, especially after you worked such a long shift. It's just, I find everybody is there for the right reason. And I think Meta can do so much more if we're given those resources, if we're given the funding, we can expand so much more, and we can offer so much more. And that's kind of what we're doing too with my department. My department's very new. So we're trying to give programs I'm creating programs, and we're trying to offer it to people in the community who are on these waiting lists. And we're trying to give these opportunities so they can have access to certain programs, even if they're short, 6 or 12-week programs. At least there's something. We're trying to do something.
I love what you said there. Everyone is there for the right reasons. I love that. Now, we are running out of time here, Elisa, so if listeners are looking for more information, how can they reach out to you? Are we talking 1-800 number, website, email? How do they reach out?
I think the best way is you go on our website. So our website is metacenter.ca. Yeah, and then just go from there. And then we have the contact page and our facilitators are there. I'm still not on there because I just got this new position, so we're under construction there. But our 3 facilitators are there, and if people want more information, you can reach out to them as well.
Excellent. And we're out of time here, Elisa. Would you care to say goodbye to the folks at home?
Oh, I just want to say that again, thank you for this wonderful opportunity, and yeah, just stay in there and persevere. Always persevere. I know it can be difficult sometimes, but just persevere and keep going and keep shining.
Wonderful advice from Elisa, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Elisa Fronczak, the Community Inclusion and Development Lead for the Meta Center. That's all the time we have for today, folks. I'm Sean Pickard. Until next time, bye for now.